games. We saw that in our previous series as well. And I think there are a decent number of parallels between BBL and NRG as well. So hoping for the best from both teams.
Absolutely. Well, we're ready to get into the game. It's going to be split to start off this best of 3. So I'll throw it over to our casters, Lemon Kiwi and Avril.
Yeah, the big qualification match between the big dogs of NA versus the Pacific champions, and we kick things off on split. NRG's choice before Pearl from RRQ and Icebox at the end. Best of 3. It's a marathon.
Guess what I see on board again for RRQ. Jemkin played it last time. Monyet says it's my turn. One more Waylay game to come on in for NRG as standard. They're going to be playing Scuba on the Viper, Sky for Ethan, exactly what they showed in their qualification games.
Oh, you got the Jemkin, or sorry, Monyet, Waylay. Jemkin's actually on the Yoru. Interesting there.
Yep. Something Mitch has talked it out plenty. Jemkin, like one of the best Yorus out there.
Ooh, just a double duelist, or the double dash is already at the back trying to run after Som and does so. And Som, such a vocal guy for NRG, just did not cry help loud enough, and NRG will be in heaven, already dogging up, using that Sky. Such a unique comp that you don't see every day, but those deep flashes are going to be so useful from the Sky later on. But the pistol going very well so far for RRQ in this 5v3.
Flash out, no entry just yet. Low HP, at least for Jemkin. Monyet down is going to give a little bit of opportunity, but just not enough left here. Scuba has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and so many angles to get through. Nice headshot. 2 more to go. Jemkin injured, but gets the last laugh in the end. Pistol for RRQ, and it was just keeping it simple. You got the 2 kills, but just getting Monyet so deep into sight so quickly to get the chase down on Som was everything.
Yeah, not the type of double duelist you're expecting. You know, Raze would be pretty popular on this map. We've seen Jet being played plenty of times as well. Even the potential in Neon is certainly going to be there, but instantly just taking the entirety of the site and refracting back over towards B main is going to be the Waylay of Monyet. And despite Scuba coming through for a couple of decent shots towards the end there, big celebration coming through for RRQ. This will take away the pistol.
Such an aggressive start from RRQ already. Hitting the B site, not being too worried about the smokes, not even caring about mid control, but we're going to see many looks as the anti-eco has still 2 pistols, but an important rifle in the hands of Jemkin, a huge star for RRQ.
Trying to really set up a trap here in mid if possible. Ethan looked like he might want to flash out, certainly a lot of util in hands. Shorty on board for Brock as well. And you can see that RRQ, yeah, they're expecting something.
Oh, just the flash out. Good swing from NRG. Jemkin playing anti-flash and just coughs back at this defense, but playing close to safety. NRG even get good damage as Mata will head into Mail and RRQ. Pretty satisfied with that exchange. You're going to try a different route this time. Paranoia to get those players in heaven. Entry from Crazy Guy. Mata re-swings into it, does what he can to kick back against RRQ, but there is just no stopping this anti-eco.
Just knowing where the trap was going to be sprung, taking down Ethan early, and then RRQ instantly shifting over towards B main, where they succeeded last time. They'll completely take control of the site. Brock, nothing to really do here. Might just play for exits. That'll probably be it.
Bringing all those weapons too, and to the bonus is always nice, and this is going to be the power of the double duelist and just how they're working together and not afraid to kind of abandon the endeavor and go for something else. And Brock's doing good damage just to get the ult online as quick as possible. Now RRQ have good momentum.
All right, time to see what we got on board for NRG first gun round. Well, high expectations. RRQ, again, coming through with some very unique comps so far, twice in a row. Not often you're going to be playing against this. Hard to really scout out, hard to really prep against. Very fast hits that we've seen so far. Easy pivots to beat. Haven't seen much out of A yet so far on this RRQ offense.
Oh, different Viper wall from RRQ, just to kind of give the illusion of threat over a garage, especially with how successful RRQ have been at back-to-back B-site hits. So having this now gate crash ready behind, Jemkin's not going to get to use it.
He's just going to go for the orb, just in full view. Knowing that, no, NRG are not going to swing this one again. I'm just going to take this orb, no worries. As the wall does, I think it was the Viper wall also coming in to assist a little bit, but wow. That level of confidence. We do find some first blood from the NRG side, though. They've been needing that.
And Monyet's got to expect someone in this close corner, especially when his teammate went down that quickly. Double dash, trying to get after Som and did not check that corner. So the spike's going to head elsewhere, but this round's looking pretty cooked
really
from RRQ.
Huge kill from Scuba on the A side as well. That's going to prevent any sort of rotation for RRQ. Xferio was thinking he could make some real inroads onto A to allow the rotation to come on in. Now just limited members alive. And really nothing found so far in this round. Everywhere on the map they tried to go has been shut down.
30 seconds left.
I like the adjustment from NRG that you're knowing Monyet are going for those double dashes, getting to the very back. So can you cut off the reinforcements? Can you even shoot Monyet in the back? The NRG already adjusting how they're approaching the B site, which is also just maybe they're going for orb, be more front and center. They got NRG got first blood off of that, and it's a flawless for NRG to fight back against all that.
Yeah, you'll love to see that coming through from NRG after a couple of unfortunate rounds, particularly that last one. Convergent Path's already online for Monyet though, so through those first 3 rounds, we're already starting to see some of these early timings in terms of the ult. Nothing else really getting online too quickly elsewhere, but this is the gun round that's going to be all important.
First time on the A side too, I like this Viper wall from Xferio, and maybe they'll cause a fight over in ramp where Ethan can always fall back to his own Viper wall if they wanted to have a more passive approach and just play off of flashes. But then Mata can just play at the front door of that Viper wall and just let RRQ come to them.
Giving up a decent amount of space here. Trailblazer will probably at least see one. That's mid taking down. The lurker's gone, which means now that RRQ have to really commit here, and beyond that as well, Scuba will be on the flank, going through sewers.
Also knowing that that was the flank and that there's not going to be anyone with Crazy Guy, like Scuba going through sewers is going to cause a lot of problems for RRQ if they don't get the ball rolling, which now being able to dash and get the spike down immediately. NRG are giving a considerable amount of space, hoping to play off of Ethan's flashes and activate on Scuba's flank, which he's already put a dent into RRQ, forcing the attention of Jemkin.
That's going to give Som the opportunity to come through as well. This is going to be a very difficult post plan now. You've got triple entry potential coming from the NRG side. Still util to play into this as well. Paranoia ready, set up. You can see Som getting prepped for it.
That's the Haunt out first, but yeah, not having any smokes on this post plane, it's just gonna hurt RRQ so much, so they gotta hold it down, and NRG just divide, surround, and conquer.
Yeah, just a brilliant flag. Scuba for 2 here. Scuba, again, sort of talked about this one in the pre-show before we even got onto this one, and even commented about the fact that Split was one of those maps where Scuba's Viper was getting a decent amount of value, and well, 5 and 3 so far, but the impact that we got to talk about, the fact that he just takes down the late lurk in towards mid, gets a good flank through sewers that I think you'd have to be a little bit more concerned about if you are RRQ, given that you've lost positioning in mid. Maybe they assumed that it was going to be going through ropes for Scuba, not the case. And just the fact that it ended up being a double flank with Som being there as well. Triple re-entry in terms of the retake for NRG, just full numbers advantage. Couldn't ask for more, really.
Yeah, from the flawless into another round win to a full buy, NRG got so rich so fast considering they dropped the pistol in the anti-eco against RRQ. So now we find ourselves on mostly a Stinger and Sheriff buy from RRQ, hoping to unite with just the limited weaponry that they have. Of course, you have flashes, a lot of that Sky util from NRG to check out ramps and playing their life, playing really conservative and not being too aggressive on that front, which is going to reveal that RRQ are not there.
Happy to play very safe on both B and A. I mean, you have the share covered for B on info. Okay, here we go. Just a dash on through, but Mata's still going to get one.
And that's good enough for Monyet. He's going to activate the ult, and now 6 HP and a dream against Ethan.
Oh my God.
The double kill is everything. Cushy was hoping to just, hey, go bait for me, bro. But 2 versus 2, thrifty potential for RRQ.
That could have just changed the entire round as well, because it was looking decent numbers for RRQ, and Ethan just says, ain't no way. As they just have a couple more members to deal with. Question will be, do they know where Crazy Guy is? Because Crazy Guy has the type of position to cause some real problems here, especially if you're stacked up and you come in at 1 versus 1. Okay, Ethan, no issues.
I'm really happy with Ethan's impact so far, and now the Seekers just to see how close Xfero was and almost the ace at the end. And this is the IGL being able to put up numbers like that. He's on ramp control and able to easily rotate over to help B, and RRQ tried to pivot to that, and it's not going to work out this time.
That was probably the most we saw out of RRQ in mid. A couple B mains already, trying to work their way up A, couple plants on both sides, but mid. I think there was one other round where they just kind of sniffed out the potential of a trap in mid. That might have been the round 2 for the anti-eco, but aside from that, not a lot of mid coming through from RRQ so far. And well, this one just gets shut down so fast. What a brilliant couple of kills from Ethan. That double up and to heaven on B was just everything they needed.
And to correct myself from earlier, Monyet still has the ult too, so this could just cause even more problems. But now you got the early pit because Scuba's had such a good start to the game. He closes off mid completely.
You can play the Nightfall and conversion paths into this one though, so you have to be a little bit careful if you are Scuba. Don't want to be caught out in mid. Not the most difficult thing to clear if you are RQ and you want to go in that direction. Just going to spend a bit of time clearing through the rest of the map here, showing a little bit of presence on towards B. What RQ don't know is Som has pushed up a decent amount on the A side already. See how far he really wants to go. So far, this is RQ just not really thinking about committing anywhere just yet.
Also just seeing how much NRG want to push their luck, because as soon as Scuba had that one kill, he started exploring the map, but RRQ are just not giving them an inch. So now being able to use this gate crash, this clone, it's up to Qeon to be solo on the right side, and that's the beauty of running the double duelist. He's going to have the dimensional drift too, so
this is a fake though.
He's going to reveal himself. It just pops out, shows it to Som, but will be traded in the end. This gets NRG busy while RRQ get it done at B.
Yeah, they've ignored the Viper's Pit as well, but at least that info is there for NRG, knowing that, okay, nothing's coming through mid. Pit's got to go down in terms of losing it in mid, but being deployed on B.
The showstopper in the middle of this pit doesn't find the Viper quite yet, and RRQ will hold down the base and play from B main, and Brock, there's just no chance.
Just see Monyet as well, just dashing on through. Yeah, showstopper, cool. I'm going to trade positions with you. Dashing towards heaven. Showstopper doesn't get that kill. Brock's going to go for a save here. We're going to be all evened up 3 and 3. And I think that sell onto A should work for at least a little bit, given that you kind of caught Brock rotating off B slightly. And even got a kill off them. I mean, just dimensional drifts opens up in the middle of the site and takes a 1v1 and wins it.
Yeah, just like decloaks out in the open. Just like, I'm surprised he got the one kill, but did get NRG jumping for it. And the showstopper for Mata to not find that pit, oh, that could have been the round difference. So NRG are going to take a time out and discuss how to go forward with this. This is a very close game.
Yeah, I think this is also a situation where you are seeing on the defensive side NRG play some of these sites a little bit light, thinking, okay, we can just play off the share here. We know Razorvine is available there as well. Even the players on A in previous rounds, not this last round, but in previous rounds playing really far back. Ethan happy to play just behind the Viper wall. Kind of reacting to what RRQ want to be able to do, then playing a lot more pressure in the mid. You can see that NRG's game plan really relying on controlling mid, which they've done very successfully, but B main has been pretty good for RRQ, at least on a few rounds now. Decent amount that they've won there.
Yeah, I think RRQ have to do as much work as possible with this double duelist on attack to just convert as much as you can, but you're also seeing the confidence that Qeon and Monyet have to split up as the duelist and try to accomplish things at different parts of the map to force NRG to play kind of 3D chess instead of checkers. And you see that just pulling NRG to the opposite sides of the map just opens things up even more for RRQ to hit that weaker site.
Some of the history as well would suggest that NRG are probably actually stronger on the attacking side of Split rather than the defensive side, particularly that MIBR game to qualify in. Let's talk about the fact that Mata wants to walk up though. Easy conversion onto Cushy and Spike down as well. Monyet to follow through.
Yeah, with the Thorns, they're going to slow you down. The Viper Molly and an op that's watching down. You rolled the dice and you got unlucky. You hit the side where the op is watching, and RRQ would have to hope to get more information out of this fade as kind of the solo initiator, but it's really relying on Manya to make a lot of the space with the dashes, but NRG are more aware of it now.
Well, it's good news that Xfer has pushed his way through, gotten a freebie over on screens, now tucked away in spawn to try and catch a rotator. That'll be Som. Meanwhile, the plant will come on through, so still, you know, decent for RRQ in the round, considering the numbers disadvantage, but you really need Xfer to be able to find something on this angle. And he's not going to be able to get it. And now, oh, crazy guy. I don't think he got spotted by that, actually. So he is still in a good position to maybe take down Ethan.
Yeah, it depends on the timing of the other people over at ramp, but there's a trade right from the op where the sun don't shine. So NRG happy with this round to take a lead, especially after the timeout they're able to stabilize.
Just no way for the last two members of RQ to help each other as well as Xfer tries to come through from spawn. And it's just caught out by Som, who, yeah, I mean, he knows that their own defensive spawn is probably does have a player there. It has been compromised given they lost a player on screens. NRG starting to pull together a little bit more now, especially just that opening shot from Mata walking on through, full confidence, and then converting onto Monyet as well. And Jemkin to follow. Just a complete 3-for-0 opening trade, giving NRG such amazing numbers advantage.
And I know Brock plays a lot of Vice for this team, but man, do I miss him on initiators and kind of the firepower, the frag potential that he would have if he had those flashes in his hand. But NRG are trying to put up as strong of a defense as they can, but now letting RRQ get into heaven, that's going to be an issue as Monyet collapses into Scuba and quickly gets back into position to help propel the spike towards the back. But there is some problems. Ethan's been evicted. Brock can at least trade, but now he's between a rock and a hard place, but still spits back at RRQ and forces a lot more effort out of this offense to get the round going. 1v1 between Cushy and Som, and this spike is heading elsewhere.
Yeah, Brock and Ethan held on so well there. Pulling out the Steel Garden as well, giving advantage. Now this is 1v1, needs to be very, very important, and it's going to be Cushy. Just see Som from a distance, evening things up. And despite all the effort, considering how things went on A main, Heaven, good look from RRQ, but just dropping members on that actual site itself from how well Ethan held with Brock. And by the way, this has been, I think, round 3 is when Monyet got conversion pass. It's been 5 rounds. He's really milking this ult today.
He's cooking. And got jump scared from Cushy clutching that and everyone screaming. 9:30 and RRQ just haven't lost a beat. So RRQ getting really hyped, and it's only the beginning. Both these teams have been neck and neck.
9:30 p.m.'s early days. We got games to play in Monyet. Straight away, double dashing in towards Heaven. He's just cleared out the whole thing.
Manyet's got to take it one step at a time, and the judge, just even with all those shots, Brock keeps his distance and keeps Heaven control, and RRQ are going to rethink this approach.
Maybe overcooked a little bit there. I mean, the rest of the team is just still kind of chilling, and okay, see what happens over on this side of the map. Scuttle goes the way of Som. As you see the double walk down from NRG finding value. I'm not too sure what RQ's game plan was there in terms of the rest of the team had no follow through off of Monyet's space created, but they also didn't go elsewhere, so it's not like, you know, is Monyet pulling attention over?
Kind of a 1-1-3, a lot of duels that RRQ are losing, and now with the Vice wall up, there is some isolation, and I want to see NRG take advantage of this, and Brock and Scuba do exactly that, and Spike still in the hand of Cushy, no HP, he's going to need a band-aid, no friends, no hospital nearby, and NRG, despite giving up all that real estate, they just know how to really catch RRQ at the heel.
Brock and Ethan just cooked them entirely there. Share splitting up the team, then the flashes coming on through. Super easy swings for NRG to be able to collect everything through. What a round, and a confusing one once more, where it was starting to look like decent value. Monyet just clearing out all of B Heaven, but no follow through from RRQ. He dies, and then RRQ is like, well, it's time to go over towards A, and the share plus flashes just completely annihilate them. It's going to head into a timeout now for RRQ to talk things through, given, yeah, man, that last round was just messy. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover on that post plane and not a lot of time to set it up because the rotations are there. There's not going to be a lot of waiting for NRG to knock at the door, so better protection on screens. That's where Brock and friends are causing the most amount of trouble, making sure you have a smoke at Heaven, and a lot less options for RQ when they're running the double duelist, of course. So I think Jemkin and Monyet looked really lethal at the start, but NRG are now kind of taking a step back and really watching for those aggressive duelist plays.
And remember, this is a map for NRG where most recently they've done better on the defensive side. And so they're really just showing that this offense from RQ getting picked apart as comfortably as it is on several rounds. That's not to say that RQ haven't won some good rounds in there. Certainly the pistol and anti-eco helped them a lot in terms of keeping the scoreline close, but you're just really starting to see this defense heat up and look solidified for NRG. It took MIBR down on this map and stopped Aspas, and if you can do that, can Monyet and Jem can do more.
Showstopper from Mata. I'm hyped for this one. Of course, you have Seekers from Ethan if they wanted to farm an orb, but Ethan's been very passive and kind of letting his dog and his flashes do all the talking over at ramp and not really showing much face. Like I said, NRG very much playing far back against his double duelist.
No share at B this time. Typically when they kind of just leave Som alone on B, he gets to play off a share as well as the Razorvine and his own paranoia. But it has been the game plan for NRG to play both Ethan and Brock a little bit further back on a quick rotation from Scuba if needed. A lot of mid control that they're actually giving up right now as both Mata and Scuba fall off, and that's going to allow RQ push into ropes.
Yeah, getting into Heaven at close range with these pistols, the classic right clicks can be very scary. But RRQ, this is going to be a very tough round to pull together, at least the Prowler. And, you know, a lot of Cushy is clearing that space, trying to give you as much heads up as possible as Ethan starts to pick them apart, activates the Seekers, which is already going to discover Jemkin and the rest of RRQ that cannot back them up.
Just give this space away, but then still be in position to receive as RQ want to walk out from Heaven. They want to walk onto site at some point, and once more, Ethan, Brock, and even reinforced with Scuba coming through after falling off from his own ropes position that he was holding a mid earlier. And Ethan's done well enough that, yeah, he's happy to just throw an extra Seekers in. He's 12-5 right now, top score on the entire server. And whatever RQ are talking about in the tactical pause, well, they need to really bring that to light in these last 2 rounds now.
Yeah, Ethan's a big source of that information from NRG, which has been mostly sourcing around the right side. Now he got Prowler from RQ, maybe just keeping things simple, going through main instead of focusing on Heaven and ramp. He got the dashes from Monyet, and it puts a big dent into NRG, able to rewind back and let the spike go down as easily as that. And RQ keep all their eyes peeled for screens, but the smoke has dissipated at Heaven, so NRG can try and get looks on all more angles.
They've finally taken down that defense. Ethan falls, Mata pulls out Showstopper and doesn't even get a chance to pull the trigger, by the way. You just have RQ using the double duelist, gate crash, plus the double dash on Monyet. 5 on the post bump. This has been the round we've been waiting for RQ for some time.
Yeah, RRQ getting comfortable in the crossfire and just going to finish off what they started. And that's what RRQ just had to adjust. The gap was at screens and also knowing when that smoke goes down at Heaven.
Just to see if RQ can clean this one up properly. Yeah, they're not even going to bother with this last kill. Well, Scuba will show his face and Crazy Guy will finish it off. We might be able to end this one 6-6 if RQ can really pull through strongly. And yeah, there'll be questions about how they do on the defensive side, considering double duelists. You really want to see more out of their offense. This is going to be a potential more rough look on the defensive side if it's going to be Waylay, Yoru. Let's take a look at how that one broke down again.
Oh.
It was really, to me, that beginning with the Monyet plus Jemkins, rush down, double dash, gate crash straight away. As we move over to the B side.
Ooh, an off. Like that off from Som, and he could think about either holding that angle at B or walking up or even playing as far back deep into sight, especially hearing that Prowler come out. And Scuba continues to be the X factor. He gets that pick at mid, can go towards sewers, here's action at B. He's going to go and reinforce that into mail. Meanwhile, RQ do what they can with the minimal weaponry, and it's just up to Monyet in a 1v4.
This is just falling apart. I mean, they dropped ultimates in this one, convergent paths. 11 rounds deep, farmed that one up on round 3, drops it in there. there. Nightfall to follow through from Cushy, and it's just going to be Som holding on so strong. Scuba as well, winning his 1v1 against Xfera and Namon. It's just too much to do. And no health as well. Oh my goodness, 7 and 5 for NRG, looking amazing on the defense for RRQ. That last round could have gone a lot better for them.
Now you get to see the firepower of NRG on the attack when Ethan can now try to flash in and set up Mata for success, where kind of just a well-rounded NRG, no flashy, no Mata engine. It's really been, like I said, Scuba being the X factor of where his lurk is and kind of all the ideas and variations he's shown. And when he wins that duel, what is he able to take advantage of in terms of map control?
Surely Jemkin, dimensional drifting through, sees Scuba as he runs forward. No surprise they couldn't get that punish onto him. Scuba just walks into Poison Orb, wins the 1 versus 1. You just start to see the numbers whittled down, the ultimates again not finding value, and that was a side that I think on the attacking side for Q that you want to see more out of the double duelist comp in terms of success on that side, and get a bit worried about what they're going to have to do now on defense to try and scrape their way back. And scoreline is not terrible, like it's 7 and 5, but I just think Q probably fell short a lot more than they would have liked in terms of attacking side should be stronger for their comp.
Looks like the vibes are still up for RRQ. Oh, somehow not the same. Maybe NRG just a little sleepy, but despite the half sort of going their way.
That 950 hitting around now, at 10 p.m. about to hit.
All that loudness came from RRQ. Maybe it's more time zone friendly for them. I don't know. But yeah, this is NRG's map pick, so maybe expecting more than a 7-5. Expectations are very high for themselves, of course.
I think they've done well. I think the rounds that they won were pretty decent when you consider that the 2 of the rounds that RQ got were the pistol and the anti-eco as well. You start to think when the gun rounds actually play on through, yeah, it's just mostly NRG. We'll see how much exploration this double duelist comp is going to have to do. At least for Monyet, you can refract back if things get a little bit difficult. Gate Crash is obviously a tool to use as well, but I think a little bit easier to punish.
Still a flash from Jemkin too, going up against Ethan and Mata, so he's going to pull the trigger first, and Mata with a big surprise against Jemkin, and couldn't even get the punish. Monyet with a big double kill. Ethan wasn't sure as Mata kind of satcheled back. Bit of a mix-up. Spike down too, oof.
He can go through, yeah, he's got refract, easy. Got the information. Scuba on the other side. 1 tag in there as well, also towards Mail. That is really unfortunate for Crazy Guy. The only problem here is you have NRG winning over towards B, but there's just no spike control. That's the real terrible situation that NRG are put in.
Yeah, what a big double kill from RRQ, and even you let that spike get picked up, you start to surround them, you flanked around ramp, and the only other spot NRG could come from is you didn't have info at mid, especially when you lost someone over at B. So here is the push from NRG through ropes, and it's a 4K for Monyet.
And he's on track to another early converging paths. So we'll see that one get used at the end of the map at some point. And for RRQ, this is where the Waylay really shows its value a little bit. And again, it's that spiked drop on ramp that really caused a lot of problems because NRG actually won over towards the B side of the map, but you can't rotate and transfer to that side when you don't have spike control. So they have to run back into Monyet, back into towards ramp, back into Snakebite and all the rest of the util. And then a massive 4K in the pistol that gives them enough money for Monyet to now just pick up an early Phantom.
NRQ in both pistols, and this is their way to get back into the driver's seat. The Stingers being botted from NRG, and they send 3 walking down over at B. The smoke will limit things, but what Mata can accomplish running around mid, being the solo lurk, is going to be interesting. Now B is being hit, and it's Crazy Guy that's going to take one down with them, and maybe more, but the shotgun is too good from Scuba, and you're even going to take control of Mail. NRG are not just going to sit by, and RRQ are causing quite a ruckus, rotating from heaven, and now the back sight. There's no util left from Cushy, so NRG just have to hold down the 2 doorways, but 2 HP for Ethan. It's not going to be easy.
This is going to be coming out down to Cushy. Okay, well, the Bucky's going to find one.
Enemy remaining.
But Cushy is the extra player moving on through the other side of the map. It's only 2 HP for Ethan, but that's all he needs. And just like the compatriots from NA, G2 known for winning these forces, known for winning these stingers, NRG saying, we'll do it too. And they do it to great success. It did get close, but Ethan, indomitable, 2 HP, and he gets it done.
The NRG are not asleep. After all that yelling, I thought Cushy had one for a second, but what a clutch from NRG, especially Ethan, kind of hanging back and playing his life, knowing how important his life is as one of the most important initiators, especially with those flashes. Does a really great job with those the Stinger special out of NRG, as now it's towards A.
Really nice solo from Scuba as well. Getting at least the one on the Bucky is super important. I'm pretty sure that RQ knew he was there. Speaking of early, Jemkin just ripping through NRG.
It's just so insane. Immediately teleports out, and NRG just gonna dog up. Now that you have that window to engage it while the Yoru is off tempo, but NRG do at least bite back against RRQ. You don't know what awaits you on the other side. Of course, a Prowler from Cushy if you wanted to check through A main, but it's going to sit back.
It's an insane read from Jemkin as well. Just this fact that he's like, you know what, we probably would normally save here, and various members on RQ did say, but he's going to play through on a hero outlaw. Of all things, checking over the money side, knowing that probably not going to be full armors for NRG, and that's exactly the case. They're all very vulnerable to the outlaw, and that just comes through in a big way for RQ. But as we go quiet here, RQ super far back, no info at all. 2 duelists alive, and Cushy has a Haunt and a Prowler, but needs to be very considerate of when and how these are used, given how hard it can be for this team to find information. But tell you what, Monyet with the conversion pass here, this will be a great round to pull through.
Yeah, whether it's the Thorns from Brock on the post plan or even a flash from Ethan, whether you want to use it within the site, how comfortable you are, just going to make sure that there's no one deep back there. 13 seconds, NRG are going to activate now, and the only one who can say something about it is Monyet, who's going to be on that high ground, now waiting for reinforcements. The Thorns are also going to be a problem.
They just don't have guns, that's the biggest problem, but he's going to make the play anyway. Oh, and he's already been, okay, doesn't even, I mean, he's been caught really as soon as he got shot immediately. He should have known it was going to be too tough. Minimum would have liked to have seen somebody else follow through. But need to get a lot closer for the Classic to have any value here, so might just end up playing for exits. As Jemkins can still do a decent amount of damage. Every single play on NRG is within one-shot territory for this Outlaw.
That force from NRG really just shifted the tides, the way they're able to carry now a couple rounds together. And Jemkin, like you said, getting those exits. And this has been, neither team have been able to really create too much of a gap. This is now the biggest gap we're going to see. 3 rounds as NRG lead that.
And I thought RQ probably would struggle a little bit on this defense. They got that early pistol, but just you called it. You're losing that anti-eco to the Force. Really hurts the momentum for what RQ could have achieved. It's actually double pistols for them, but instead of getting the 4 rounds, they'll get the 3. We can consider that half the rounds they've won is essentially off either a pistol or something close to that. Doesn't feel good as far as the guns come on through, and the guns that do come on through for this round, obviously the Outlaw that was saved over from Jemkin, but even for the rest of them, there's only 2 rifles here. Sphera's gonna play inside smoke with the Judge. Or at least think about it.
Yeah, just keep buying down to 0. It's such a bummer for RRQ, but the power of Judge compels you on this map, I swear, especially being in male. If Mata tries to just satchel in, be crazy with it, you just have so many people looking at you, whether it's Vents or even a Judge sitting over in male. So NRG, if they keep, wow, they're just gonna spray through the smoke, I guess, and really punish Jemkin.
Well, they saw the shot come through. Jemkin revealed positioning, and then NRG too happy just to throw shots in there, hoping for the best, and they'll get better than that. And now you're starting to feel really worried for RQ, given that they have essentially forced up on this defense. You don't see a lot of those happening, but yeah, everyone's essentially buying to 0, whatever they can. And can Xfera get close enough for this Judge to work?
Good paranoia, and of course you got the Molly too, so RQ have gotten good delay, and this gets Xfera into a better position. He's rotated over with the Judge. You almost wish he held it at the front door. It would have been so much more impactful, but probably trying to play anti-sky, anti-flash where you can. And look, the impact of that dog, nothing. Storm is going to stay put, and NRG have to push and don't know which side of the pillar to get around. As Som has to reconnect. Good win against Monyet, gives confidence for NRG to go forward. There is 12 seconds. RRQ can try to play prevention. The plant does go off, and it's Cushy left in a 1 versus 3, and he can't do it. Double digits for NRG.
Yeah, the Monyet ultimate comes through Convergent Pass, slows things down massively. NRG have to pump the brakes there, but RRQ can't really do much with that. They can't afford to get too aggressive. They know there's NRG members over towards main. And now they have to go for a timeout as their money is just completely broken. Losing Jemkin early hurts a lot there. Xfero at least got that one on the Judge, tucked away near the default plant to try and swing through for an extra kill. The Judge reveals his positioning quite early and just can't quite collect more. They had a definite weapon disadvantage going into this round, which turned then into a player disadvantage, which then turned into a possible recoverable situation with ultimates being used, but just no value gain to actually give them anything to work through in that round. Once the hindering starts to fall off in terms of the debuff, and then NRG happy to just reignite their aggression onto site.
Yeah, RQ feeling the pain of not having more initiators and just not being able to follow up with kind of the good utility. It's just NRG playing very well positionally against it. And Som, I think, did well for kind of being in an unhelpable, untradeable position. And then once he got that pick, NRG flooded in. So that looked really good.
That might have been one of the more impactful picks as well. Som getting into the back of side and getting the kill to Monyet, who had one of the only rifles on board for RRQ. And he's probably the guy that is best in position to take advantage of his own convergent paths and try and take down some hidden members. But the fact that he just loses to Som, which was a player that they were not able to scout out.
Not ready yet.
It's not like Som ulted there or anything. He just snuck his way in, used his basic TPs, and put himself into a winning spot for the map, for the round, and maybe for the map, because 10-6 now.
Yeah. If RRQ don't convert the next rifle round, this map is cooked. But at least it's a best of 3, and Pearl is RRQ's map pick, so they could try to force the third one, but it's not over yet. NRG are starting to run away with this. A 1 to 2 round gap is getting ever so larger, and a lot of that coming from the economy difference ever since that NRG force. Now with that boom bot, you are going to see someone in mail, but now that you're able to poke out, you know no one's in vents, so good information out of NRG. Where did those defenders go?
RQ just wanted to take a risk. They wanted to force up themselves in defense, which is a little bit less common, and well, they found out why most teams probably wouldn't do that. Crazy Guy, yeah, Paranoid, that'll be good. That'll slow things down. Snakebite as well.
Crazy Guy's timings on those Paranoias are so big, too. Just the molly to catch anyone in the corner, just to spam through Crazy Guy, not able to escape. But next up has been Xfero to cover the gap, and he goes 1 for 1. But I don't think that's going to be enough against RRQ, especially if they would have wanted to pick up those rifles. Now Cushy has full util. Him and Jemkin are going to have to pull a rabbit out of their hat.
It's a decent amount of trades, though. RRQ, I mean, hate to say that this is actually pretty workable. Util is pretty decent. They just need to connect these shots, and it's not happening. Scuba is a little bit too sharp, and Ethan, even though Scuba goes down, too happy to trade an 11 found. Q, of course, you talk about the fact that that was an eco. They got a couple kills on that eco. With the last 2 remaining members, it is so hard for them to retake. And now this is the round. Weapons back online, operator in hand for Jemkin. Dimensional Drift in there as well. Yeah, there's also, by the way, a decent amount of ultimates on the NRG side, but for RQ, this is going to have to be an absolutely massive round. Otherwise, it's a one-sided split as we get ready to move into map 2.
Yeah, NRG are looking almost flawless on this offensive half. If they win pistols, then NRG are going to clean up maps even faster. But they can win everything else, and Jemkin is insane, but he does get punished. Look at where Som ends up, too. Like, he's just already towards screens. It allows that Viper's pit to get set up from Scuba, and the plant is as easy as that. It's going to be outside of the pit, though.
Most importantly, Jemkin dies, which means you don't have a very important tool to clear this pit through the Dimensional Drift. Speaking of this pit, Scuba, shorty kill coming on in.
I don't know if landing within the pit would have made a difference, but Monyet is insane for dashing in the middle of enemy territory, but it's a 1v1 Crazy Guy versus Scuba. The newest additions facing off to make a difference, and it's just a stalemate with the pit up, the spike down, 52 seconds. It's a chess match.
He's let the pit go. He is really hoping He'll get a timing here. Crazy guy is getting impatient. Shoulder gets checked. And Scuba 3 kills in the round will clean things up for NRG to get 12 and 6. And what a brutal gun round to lose if you're RRQ, because now you're just not going to have guns to bring through for what is probably going to be the final round of the half of the map. NRG at map point.
Wow, what a read too from NRG in that last 1v1, knowing where they were going to come from. I like that NRG are extending further and further outside of the site, and Monyet has to go for crazy plays, kind of just sacrificing himself to try and get the spike delayed just so RRQ can have a better entry, but it is match point. RRQ don't have a good buy.
I feel bad for Martin away, because I don't think we've seen a single showstopper even fired it, let alone getting a kill. However, doesn't matter for NRG. Like I said, that Gemkin kill was so huge. That's one of the best tools for them to clear the Viper's pit, taken away immediately. And RRQ want to make their own pit play in mid, forcing this to the extremities for NRG, but you know what? That's probably fine. NRG have won plenty through B main and A main in the past, and look at the advanced movement here. If this is a kill, it's probably over. Gemkin's gone. And now conversion, call it right now. Let's hit the pearl.
Yeah, no dimensional drift, no pit. This is RQ going next, and Mitch will be joining us in a second. We'll have some news to report over the big favorites of RRQ, but maybe it's just a map pick difference and just the power of NRG having more bells and whistles to play with. Big fan of the Sky and how much information Ethan's been able to provide. And even though it's not the Mata show, it's an NRG well-rounded team closing things out very shortly, hunting down Cushy, who I think RRQ have accomplished so much in the VCT Pacific scene as the champions, and they'll have that buffer. But wait a minute, a 1v1? Did I go there too soon? It's a nightfall. It's a clutch from Cushy. All right, Mitch, go sit back down.
That is ridiculous. Cushy coming in with 4 last ones. That round should have been over. NRG had such an extreme player advantage. They had map control. They had basically everything going their way. Items as well in terms of the weaponry, in terms of everything they have in their utility. That is a crazy comeback. The Nightfall to clean it up as well. Did not expect any of this. Things got out of hand quick, and around the NRG would like to forget. Now, do NRG still most likely just win this map anyway? Yes, but this is just players 1v1 into the sight lines of Cushy, and he's like, yep, this is how I'm going to clutch it. And
like on a half buy too from RRQ, like we're both like, yeah, let's go to Pearl, but RRQ, not on RRQ's watch. Now you got the double walk up, double dash, just giving NRG the hug. Maybe he really wants to go to Pearl too, and NRG just get a free one.
No time to refract either. That's also ultimate down. One of your rifles down. RQ have certainly recovered from worse, as we just saw, but they're going to need to do that 5 times in a row now to hit an OT. If we want to put some and inject some belief into RQ for the remaining 5 rounds and a half. And here we go, Cushy, the hero of the previous round. How much of a hero is he going to be this time?
Oh, well, it's not only just the trade, but the information that, okay, we're heading towards the A site, so the teleport going to happen for Crazy Guy to go and check out A. He doesn't stick it.
He did that so early. Did he assume that NRG had already rotated on? Surely not, because Cushy literally had the info that was a bunch of rotators still coming through from spawn. So it's like, that was a weird ult coming through, in my opinion. Dimensional Drift, we'll see everything else. He's only going to see Ethan.
Oh, paranoia, but as soon as Crazy Guy went to check for targets, NRG's fire was already there. And now it's just Xpharaoh, and all the effort that Cushy did, it seems out the window unless Xpharaoh can make a good Cushy impression. But it's still 13-7 for NRG on split.
Cushy made it interesting. Very fun round 19. Unexpected clutch, but tell you what, NRG, they still come through strong, overall winning it 7-5 on the opening half, and we expected a lot looking at how the double duelist was navigated through RRQ.
I think that's one of the more shocking games I've seen from RRQ, to be honest, guys. So look, I think that's closer to the floor of RRQ. There is a lot more above that. However, we will head into the game to see if they can recover here, or whether they will once again miss out on an opportunity to make playoffs as they have done historically. Take it away, Lemon, Kiwi, and Avril.
Cool to see Brock on the Sova with the now flash, of course, from Ethan. Got the KO with the knife, getting that info early. The double duelist, of course, from RRQ, as we expected.
It's basically the exact same comps that both teams played most previously, in the previous game. Just move the tail out, put a Sova in there. Ethan KO could be an X factor here. Is a bit more of a rare look these days from my perspective on Pearl. Look at this early art control though. NRG happy to walk in through, take all of this mid, delete Cushy, and now suddenly they have a lot of control of the map.
Yeah, I think the KJ just gives you more information with the turret, but then there's such good delays with the Thorns and what side of the coin you are and whether the flashes from Vice are good or not. But I think NRG are looking good so far, of course, with that first blood, already getting RRQ to patch up those gaps that were left behind from Cushy's corpse.
Now looking to potentially double back around, confusing RRQ a little bit, forcing some rotations. Slight exploration going to be coming through for Scuba just to make sure no flank is on board. As the time starts to dwindle down, RRQ with no information, just sniffing this one out. Crazy Guy in position next to him, Xfero.
Oh, a flash. Crazy Guy, does he live? And he gets pinged. The spike is down. NRG met with some contention from RRQ, but nothing that they can't recover from. As a spike down, Monyet makes an appearance. 2 duelists left. Does it have enough to take down NRG when it was just such a good start to the pistol? Oh. NRG, though, have a problem, and it's Monyet. The solution could be there, playing out of sight, out of mind. Crossfire for NRG, and you have a knife. You have Scuba in position.
One enemy.
And it's Ethan and Scuba that could collide one last time. Ethan just gonna bait for Scuba, getting the finish, and RRQ took both pistols last map, but it's NRG with a better start.
Hey, we're talking about problems for NRG. How about problems for RRQ there? Long flank coming through from Ethan on minimal HP, but in position to just strike at the right time. Went from 4v2 to 2v2, so you'll say the double duels from RRQ started to really show their mechanical value towards the end there. No utility either, just having to face that one straight up. Thanks. Ethan will close the door on them, doesn't even die, doesn't get traded. So now NRG pick up the pistol, which, fun fact, RRQ got both pistols on the last map and still end up getting crushed. Not a good start for RRQ, considering that narrative.
I think NRG got good info off of Ethan's knife over at the A orb, so just knowing those numbers gives confidence for NRG to grab the orb, and you're expecting an anchor over at B, whether it's Jemkin, probably not expecting that, but he's able to teleport out if he's met with NRG fire. But just now it's kind of the orb grab, little Easter egg hunt.
Might be call around to finish at A. Certainly had Ethan hanging out in that direction for a while, though not advanced movement. Now back over towards Art, which is the direction they headed in the previous round, but very scary. They just don't really know what they're walking into right now, and more specifically with Crazy Guy pushed up so far, they do not have info that Crazy Guy is going to have a flank on them.
Of course, smokes in place from Scuba. Be able to get a safe plan. This is going to be even harder to retake from RRQ, especially with the time it takes to rotate back, and NRG can take all the space they can, whether it's the Stingers or Mata that want to play deep, or they could just play from A main, but on this flank, it could be Crazy Guy that gets a good surprise.
Yeah, it will be. That's going to be the player that really needs to be leaned on from RRQ's perspective. Totally unknown player. How far back are the rest of RRQ, though? They're like in spawn even.
Yeah, just going down with the ship.
That doesn't even look like they really want to go for this at all, which is super strange. I mean, you
just die to the spike and
but really, you should even consider some exits here. But no, it looks like they're just going to die to spike. Okay.
This seems so hard to retake with the amount of time NRG could have had to set up, and not wanting NRG to get too much momentum, especially on their offense, because that's where NRG were the deadliest on split. Kind of the crazy win streak they went on, and RRQ really suffered in the economy because of that.
Just would have liked to maybe see Crazy Guy at least attempt something there, being an unknown player that had a reasonable positioning, but I can respect the fact that, you know, don't want to accelerate NRG too quickly. Guns up now. All full armors except for Jemkin.
No big actually a turret adjustment from Cushy over on the right side of the map, where NRG have liked to push before. Of course, the knife change from Ethan from A orb to around where they'd like to push. NRG just being able to use the smoke to maybe pop flash out with Ethan, but no, Ethan's in mid, so.
There's 3 players here on the defense as well. Monyette's going to reposition slightly, play off of Cushy, seeing if anybody's going to bite and walk through. Smoke's faded now. First blood, good for Cushy. No further info though, but the spike down is a lot.
Yeah, you still have a flash from Ethan that can help try to push his corner, but he's just kind of unaware. Not sure why Sam is the one making first contact with the spike, and Ethan's not even kind of making an immediate reaction to try and help assist pushing through that corner.
Ethan was on the other side of the map. Ethan was trying to make something happen on the street B link. And now he's really going to try and, well, not for very long. I was going to say we wanted to try and recover that round a little bit, Brock. And a 1 versus 3 with all to do. Limited time, not expecting too much here. But a great trap setup from RRQ in general over towards ARC, given that they've lost that positioning multiple times now, at least the last 2 rounds that we've seen. It was about time they found a punish.
Yeah, the big info tools that NRG had, Brock was droning through B long, and then you had Ethan kind of waiting around mid, and NRG could have really used either of them to get through that corner to get the spike back. And not a quicker enough reaction, but a good rifle round from RRQ to punish that.
I think they just kind of gambled in terms of info and just assumed they could walk on through. And kind of it doesn't work out in their favor, obviously, so big one for RRQ. Good to see them take that one away. It's such a strong look here. It's really the rest of the members after the first blood is seeing that really feel bad for. And they probably could have walked away from mid as well if it wasn't for the fact that the spike dropped. I think that was the part that hurt the most. Could respect that Ethan was trying to get something done over towards Link. Cause some commotion around that you'd like to forget if you're NRG. Still though, guns look reasonably good. Scuba on a Guardian, slightly unfortunate. Action on towards the A side though. Guardian, who cares? Straight through the wall, crazy guy down.
Like that knife from Ethan too, kind of seemed really delayed and it came through A and caught RRQ off guard. Information for NRG to win through that A orb control and through the right side, and that'll inspire the spike to go over. But RRQ could kind of delay things with the Astra Stars that Xfero has down, and this could set up Monyette for success.
Look at how NRG have, at this point, obviously got the advantage over towards A main, but they have definitely abandoned the rest of the map, including over towards Art, which they struggled in previously. They could walk past 2 stars. Especially the grab wall is going to slow things down considerably. This is now going to be RQ trying to hold on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, Mata's able to use the smokes to cover himself during that grab well, but RRQ's firing squad in position, and Monyette got enough time bought for him, but NRG still carving their path through, and it's just Scuba as RRQ got back into position in time, and as the spike tries to get picked up, RRQ just used it as bait.
Way too easy for RRQ just to be able to slow that one down. Double stars, straight into the grab well, making it difficult for NRG to walk on forward, and Monyette. A firing line straight into A main, collects more than a couple, shutting down everything from NRG, who not interested in doing too much defaulting, got crushed earlier, round 3 on Art, completely abandons mid this time around. Full force being shown over towards A main after taking an early player down to 4 the 5 versus 4, but yeah, not able to break through at all. I think once the grab wall comes through, have to start considering, is it time to cancel? Do we have enough time to rotate or go quiet, do something? But no, they wanted to push on through, and Monyette was all too happy to receive.
Just NRG not being happy with the information that they're getting, like whether it's they walked into R after they had used the KO knife and just walked in, contact, no initiators, just vibes, and not getting what they wanted there, to now droning at B, not really knowing who's anchoring that, not satisfied with going for a B push quite yet. It's been a lot of A hits. Now they're getting hit by Gravwells. Monyette's on the other side, who is a very impactful Neon, kind of scurrying around that middle box and making it very difficult for NRG to have a successful take, at least consistently with all the smokes that are in place.
It was a stronger defensive side for NRG in that Pearl game against 100 Thieves, where they got the 13 and 5.
Time to jump.
7 and 5 on their attacking side, which is where they are currently. And Couple of advanced weapons purchased up here. Bit of a half-buy situation. Very quickly just pushing forward in towards the streets. Nice double killjoy utility being burnt as well on the defensive side. Cushy getting that info.
Ooh, good tap from Xphero. Already proccing that RQ, had a heads up, and look, they're just gonna play aggressive off of taking care of Mata. No duelist for NRG, you lose a big opener, but you still have Ethan with a flash. No util from Brock, Stingers. This is the power of friendship. They're gonna hope to re-clear through streets.
Didn't get the opportunity to really play off Mata either. He cleared a decent amount, got rid of that killjoy utility, then he just kind of solo peeks that one through, doesn't shoot a knife off and dies for it. Well, the rest of
Brock?
NRG is still hanging around mid, and now Brock, you mentioned his name, he's next on the chopping block.
Okay, yeah, I was worried about that push. I think they could have just stayed focused on going towards the B site, and NRG have so many objectives in their head. And look at how deep Som is playing, and he gets discovered. NRG just keep poking and prodding towards the enemy spawn and are not getting anything done from that.
Could have been a good one from Som. Could have been a good one from Mata as well, considering the blade storm being pulled out, but Som wanted to walk through water there. Instantly caught out. Yeah, half by will be shut down pretty comfortably from the RQ position, and now we're going to start talking about the ults as well as we get 6 rounds deep in this first half. Decent number of ults are about to come online. Operated out. Jemkin looking over towards B. Not a lot of action actually on the B side. I think NRG have mostly played through mid, ending at A main. Perhaps this is the time to look at B. Unfortunately, they're going to be walking into Operate. Let's see if they're ready for that.
What a difference from Monyet from the Waylay to a 9-1 is it? And I want to see the overdrive, but I don't want to cast a curse it. And of course, RQ sometimes hesitate when they get hit by that Ethan knife, and of course when it gets rid of all your abilities. That I understand it, but still standing and delivering. RQ are not going to give up that space for free.
You know, we're just going to get a little bit of damage on them on yet, but both teams wanted to fight over Orb there. Now re-clearing is going to be Crazy Guy. Not too sure if he actually got eyes on Scuba there, but in either case, he has full control over that banana. Is back over towards mid now, potentially through mid, down the streets. They have lost on this angle before. Mata rechecking the same angle. This time doesn't find anything. That turret's going to give decent info though.
No damage is finally trying to figure out what is RQ set up for B. Who is this anchor? And it's going to be Jemkin with the op. Maybe not expecting Mata to be that close. And Ethan still has a flash. What a shot from Jemkin. And no trade for NRG. Not a quick enough reaction as Ethan wasn't in position to flash up. But NRG are still going to be on the chase. And you still have Som inserted at B main. And Jemkin's just going to fall back with the op as he should.
Well, they feel confident still to push into the op because it is just Jemkin. Currently needs to wait for some rotators. Util being dropped in his face. Smokes will block out positioning. In through. Scuba just wants to run through and chase down and gonna get punished for that.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, kind of why RQ getting their wires crossed. Probably could have just waited for Crazy Guy to finish the Hunter's Fury. Still, should be a good round for them. They're up by 1, but the time is on NRG's side in the post plan on the high ground. Oh, Brock! Oh, he's different. But Xphero hits right back.
Good
2
flash.
versus 2, and Ethan still not in this. It's just up to Som, and just the teamwork is too good from RQ.
The flash was good, but the reload just completely cooked it. Sadly, that was a very unfortunate situation for Som.
It's good.
Maybe a little confused as well in terms of what Scuba was doing. Dropping down all the smokes, cutting off sightlines for Jemkin's good. That's what you want versus that operator. But then beyond that, things started to get a little bit messy. Multiple ults being dropped into that play. Multiple ults being earned in the middle of that as well, which could have gone very differently in the favor of NRG as RQ now have 4 in a row. A crushing around losses. Big 4 stingers coming in. Still not really a 4, still just a half buy here, but what can we get done? Steel Garden can definitely even up the economy in terms of weaponry here if they can get a good situation to drop it off.
Can go for that.
Taking that back.
Op shot too from Jemkin as he was at the front of B main, but now that he gets smoked off, he can kind of fall back, and NRG is just going to run it down B main, something that I was hoping to see more out of them, especially when you have the Steel Garden activates that, and I don't know if it got Jemkin either way. NRG going to get a safe plane out of it.
Yeah, just going to be a retake here. Jemkin falling off. Might end up swapping a gun with somebody and then Dimensional drifting through as part of that retake. Very important now as a couple of members on this side of B trying to go through club and see if they can get a bit of a flank going. This has been spotted. They definitely know about this information. Brock, good. Any more?
Any more out of it. And it's RRQ going to try to retake, and with Crazy Guy's double kill, it's going to be a lot easier. And NRG have Ethan with no util, and the rest holding it down where they can and pushing together. But RRQ's clutch potential, something to write home about.
And that was a great situation for NRG as well. They got the plant down. Just checking time here. Yep, barely in there, but we're fine. 1.3 seconds. No sweat. Just chilling for your RRQ. 4 members alive. Operator still held on to. But yeah, a plant, you're in close range proximity with stingers. You even have a situation where you get express information from the share being placed down, being popped, and Brock in position to at least get the one. Beautiful would have been 2, but 1 is already pretty damn good for NRG. And they just need to try and hold on and figure out what else they can do with the stingers. Hard though, once the Cosmic Divide does come through as well. And you start remember RQ's superior weaponry, pulling them through more.
NRG are just not getting a lot of luck. Now it's been back-to-back B hits that have been retaken by RRQ, so maybe you have to think back towards A. Now that early knife, you pinged RRQ, especially that Neon being at that side of the map, so going towards R and NRG, this is something they have to be careful of. And now that they're more united as a squad, it's Mata that'll just jump over that KJ and try to surprise RRQ, who are waiting at the back. And then there's an important 1v1 between Monyet and Ethan. He's going to push up and look for that. Ethan is punished, no flashes, and Monyet goes back towards the front. And NRG cover all their bases. Sohm with the 3K could just be converting this round. And it's Jemkin that hopes to keep the op.
Sohm broke the timing on that fast lane coming through, so he just kind of gets past it straight away. And in a position that RQ were not ready for at all. Monyet was hoping he could lock out more members from NRG with that fast lane. And as we call it here, Jemkin saving that up, and he got a ton of info that round as well. He pushed up super far up. Full control, looking into club, knowing that nothing happening over towards B. Just got to check over towards A. NRG will finally bring one back. It's taken a while. What is that, 5 rounds in a row for RQ, and NRG with their first reply in quite some time.
It's pivoting back towards A and working off that information from Ethan with that knife and coming through R and trying to just really break down the structure of RRQ. And being able to catch Monyet, I think, was very important because he can cause a lot of damage. And look, he has 11 and 4. That is the star of RRQ. And if you could shut him down, you probably just dismantle RRQ from there.
Operator still being online is definitely going to be a threat. As we start to see this, look at Sohm getting past that fast lane. And the 2 players being caught there from RQ, none the wiser. As Sohm will find the kills required to bring NRG back within fighting contention. Just 2 rounds now, the gap between them. A couple of early movements there from Monyet on A main, but this is going to be a full B push led by the drone, just to make sure that this is not where the operator is.
Especially with NRG liking to go through R to RQ, which like to set up there initially. They're pretty confident in their retakes, and NRG Cosmic Divide putting Mata in a more aggressive forward position, trying to get ahead of the game. A big surprise against Monyet. What a flick! What? Monyet is locked in. It's not over yet. Offensive Hunter's Fury from NRG to stuff the defenses of RRQ, and it's just Crazy Guy and Jemkin with the op still getting into position with all the smokes in place. He's not going to have good vision, but Crazy Guy will make the job a lot easier, at least being through that back closet side. It's a strong position that Brock flushes him out. Beautiful shock dart.
There's still no plant though, so this might still be stable for Jemkin. Obviously, he's in a rough spot. Would like to swap out his operator for a rifle. And he doesn't have info. Look, he's still looking over and towards the back. Okay, yep, diving into the smoke. Make an attempt onto the shorty. Obviously not going to end up working out. Yeah, just didn't have much to work through there. We're still considering it could be a player in towards halls. Despite Mata kind of falling in the tower, in the high ground, Monyet just kind of flying to his face. The rest of NRG still come through really strong on site, led by Ethan.
Yeah, just NRG repositioning on that post plant, kind of playing through B main, Cosmic Divide, and just having Mata get aggressive and get information. Even if Mata went down, which obviously ideally he would have taken down Monyet, but just knowing the numbers, knowing what's going on, having Mata be proactive, I like to see that out of NRG.
I think just being able to drone through B, knowing that you're not walking to the operator here, you can beat some of the utility being placed on the ground, given that Mata can just sort of fly past it, and then Cosmic Divide to make it really difficult for any remaining defenders to still contest, putting yourself into a good position to win, and really importantly as well, kind of wasting a lot of time for Qeon, who twice in a row now has found himself on the wrong side of the map previously, 2 rounds ago, pushing up heavily over towards B ramp into club, and would have been a great position to find somebody and fall back off after he gets a kill on the operator, but had to rotate all the way around the map, ends up saving the op this time around. He plays over towards Art side, knowing that a couple times now NRG have gotten aggressive on that side of the map, and that would have been a decent punish, but once more, unluckily finds himself in the wrong place, has to retake with an op again, and this time commits to it because there wasn't a plant yet, thinking, okay, well, this is playable. But another round that just goes awry for RRQ. That 5 in a row has looked really good, but NRG closing the gap lovely now, as it's just going to be the one between them. One more round for the op for Qeon, though. He really wants to try and find value.
I really thought the adjustment would have been to just put Qeon back on B, because that's where RQ have found a lot of that success. But thinking those Astra smokes have been kind of hitting his vision, of course.
He was on B 2 rounds ago.
Yeah.
No one came, and that's the unfortunate thing.
All right, Steel Garden, just a zoning tool for NRG, and then having Mata double dash towards the back room. Good power positions zoned off from NRG and getting a plant. And look, just not being afraid to go past these smokes and to hit RRQ before they get set up for the retake. Don't give them time to think. Don't let this op get into position, but the high ground is something that NRG have to worry about. And Brock had a beautiful double kill in the past, and I think NRG can play out of sight, out of mind.
RQ's gone. They're going to be saving. I was going to say as well, you have a situation where even in Halls, Mata has control, all other players have fallen off. And the plant is looking too strong here. How much money are we working with here? Do you want to chase? Well, you got okay money for NRG, but into 3 players, into an op, might just be safer to allow this one to go. Happy to just collect yourself another round to bring it even. 5-5 as we have a much more competitive map than what we saw onto Split. Slower start for NRG, but RRQ have gone quiet in the last 3 rounds.
Is this going to be the round RRQ change things up for B? Because now it's been multiple rounds in a row for NRG being successful on those takes and being just a little bit more aggressive. Now you got an Odin, that's fun.
And you got an Odin coming through a Brock now. It's something that he pulled through versus Heretics on Lotus and just completely disrespected the enemy with. We'll see where that ends up being played through. And once again, operator for Qeon, which he did save through from the previous round. Is this the 3rd round in a row that he has looked over towards Art? And he is thinking at some point, surely this is the round that NRG finally come into Art, and I get that pick that I've been waiting for. But once more, it's going to be B.
Yeah, NRG just being able to drone up, use their Astra Smoke to approach safely, and then insert Mata, double dash into the back. It's just the same game plan, but this time paying a lot more focus to that top high ground. But Hunter's Fury, Mata is going to be dancing with the wolves, and he still has an impact to stop RRQ's retake before it truly blossoms. And RRQ are left with Qeon and Crazy Guy, who at least, instead of the op, will get a rifle. But NRG have built up so much momentum on these attacks, but Crazy Guy's shock darts are something else.
You got utility here. This is certainly playable for Qeon and Crazy Guy. Crazy Guy onto Brock. That's all the flash is good for. What? No way. This is it. Crazy Guy picking up 3 in that round. The last 2 going its way. A little bit of support coming through from Qeon as they go back for the operator. Dropped it off, picked up a rifle, actually got a retake in there. Whew, RQ.
Kind of had a... That Hunter's Fury from RRQ caused kind of a divide in NRG when Mata is dashing towards streets, trying to maybe either shut down the Hunter's Fury or, you know, do something in the awkward position he was, while the rest of NRG tried to get away from the Hunter's Fury. And usually playing from main has been successful for NRG.
Crazy Guy even picked up the Odin, by the way. That was dropped off the body from Brock. Little spoils of war there. Picking that one off the corpse of NRG as we head into the final round of the half. No command ready for Ethan. There'll be a second one so far in the half. And finally, here we go. They're walking into it. But are they going to drone it? They will, which means, yeah. Yes, but no. The drone, very well played.
But maybe? He's sticking around, I guess.
Good structure from NRG there.
Yeah, he's still, because of that defensive smoke, NRG get to walk up pretty much for free. But now knowing the op is there, they have to be aware of this. Big shutdown from Mata. Thorns in place. No approach from RRQ. Mata is unleashed.
Massive round. Drop off Ethan here as well. Everyone else falling off. Share to cover the flank. And it's RQ, 3 members left to try and make this comeback happen. One off the ult is Xfera as well. There's a knife wall catch information on 2 from Ethan.
Just suppressing the ability to when time is of the essence and just getting an alternate angle. NRG have the time to explore and go through mid, maybe get a backstab onto Cushy, but there's no time. RRQ have to go in, and now and on the other side of the smoke, you just get spammed through, and Mata just trying to cut through, almost wanted the ace, gets away with a 4K, and it's a 6-6 half.
NRG, brilliant final round there. Mata going absolutely large, beats the operator. Jemkin wanted so badly to find value on that. The only thing he got was earlier on, I believe we found 1 operator kill when he dragged the crosshair down over on that street side of B Lincoln. Just kind of snapped on top of Mata, but this time around, Mata flying on and instantly snapping his own crosshair onto the face of Jemkin. Nearly found himself an ace this round. Absolutely brilliant stuff. This is 6-6. Starting to look for a very close game. I mean, NRG went MIA between rounds 3 and 7, but over in the final 5, aside from that round 11 here, a much better look for NRG.
Hey, you get to see the double duelists now kick some butt on attack, where we kind of saw Monyet activate at times with the speed, especially being a huge threat over on the A side. Jemkin likes to buy the op and just unfortunately be at the wrong places. At least have unlucky reads against NRG, who have pivoted back and have really fixed up how they were approaching B, which got them a very solid win streak.
I mean, I think a big difference that we saw as well, very early on in that half, in the first quarter, you could say, we saw a lot more mid-control, or at least attempted mid-control coming through from NRG. They wanted to go through art multiple times. There was a huge punish in one of the early rounds as well, where, you know, kind of dropped the spike early. Som went first, died there. That caused a lot of problems for that particular round and got them completely cleaned up. But then as we progressed to the second part of that half, our second quarter here, it was a lot more just straight up hits on sites, particularly B. I think the last, was it 4 rounds? Definitely the last 3, but it felt like the last 4 rounds, B, to Jemkin's despair a little bit in terms of not being in the right place to catch that. But even at the end, when he was in the right place, instantly droned out. Here we go though, it's Monyet early.
Monyet already being fast and loose, going towards the opponent's spawn, and now pressuring NRG from multiple angles, and it's the opener from Cushy with the Sheriff, and Monyet, he senses blood in the water. 1 HP, and just couldn't get the last shot into Brock, brings him down to his knees, and NRG just trying to play as safe as they can for reinforcements. You need Ethan in this fight, and Brock cannot stay alive.
Not afraid to speed things up here. RRQ instantly threw out. They're saying, you don't want to take this mid-control. We're going to do it on our attacking side and find value. But Mata has something to say about it. Dash ready to go. First kill on Xfera. What else can we get through from this duelist who nearly got the ace on the previous round?
It's so impossible to retake all the different angles, and RRQ that just don't have to show face, but NRG are going to try and bait them, tap the spike, get the attention, shock bolt, Mata, what a read, and the second, another 4K!
Not impossible for Mata. 4Ks back-to-back, nearly got an ace last round, and he will get the 4K again to bring NRG a pistol in this second half, and that was looking dire for NRG, considering RQ's fast start, instantly getting value, instantly getting a plant, pushing on through, taking art control. Cushy and Jemkin doing a decent amount, but the belief here, Mata so clean, isolating these plays and the snap with the Cushy there. And even in this 1 versus 2, dodges the shock dart, isolates Jemkin, then just gets Crazy Guy down. So clean from Mata.
So good. Don't want to make Mata mad. A solo duelist playing as 2. And if Mata's going to keep up this kind of form, NRG could just be qualifying out of groups. Remember how important this match is, and it's series point for NRG. But Of course, being able to take that anti-eco has kind of been the staple for NRG when RRQ just looked that good on pistols. So it's just a one-round gap, but NRG looks solid.
It's a huge confidence builder, I mean. That's the kind of round that just puts the pressure onto RRQ, and now you're kind of doubting it a little bit in terms of RRQ. It's like, damn, that was such a winnable round. It should have really been RRQ, but Marta just had something else to say about it. What an unreal performance these last 2 rounds back-to-back. Swap sides, swap halves, doesn't matter. Jet go kill, Marta 4Ks. To get past the technical pause and head into the next round here. Oh
my.
Oh,
wait, Psalm judge difference, the double K, or the double kill while he's flashed? Psalm is insane. He had that one round where he had a 3 or 4K over at A. This is his playground. He got the spike down, teleport in. Qeon, I respect going for the big play solo, but
he was full flashed.
Yeah.
And Psalm still got that one done. This is going to be flawless now.
Got the 6th sense.
Not quite.
And NRG extend the lead by 2, and all thanks to Psalm's solo effort over at A.
I was expecting the worst there. Psalm maybe get the 1 kill, then drop the weapon, give the judge over. Not that the judge would have been that threatening. Maybe in the hands of Monyet, sliding on through the judge could be a little scary, but the fact that he just lived. Flash, look at him, he's flash. Well, to be fair, there's a bit of a team flash going there as well, so maybe multiple RQ potentially flashed themselves. In either case, did not expect Psalm to be able to do that much from that position. And now the more important gun around for RQ. This is where they need to start closing this gap a little bit because the game is starting to move away from them.
Oh my god, this is going to be a bloodbath. Both teams being aggressive, but being stunned and flash, shock bolts, distance being kept. But Mata at box will not be able to be to escape, and NRG just can't trade. There's just been such good suppression from RQ using that utility. Now the dust settles and NRG can reestablish themselves. RQ grab the orb and they can leave.
Huge kill into Art again. When you look at the situation, Cushy goes down, drops a rifle for Ethan. That could have been a really nice flank coming on through, but he kind of reveals himself on utility, and then Ethan just snaps 90 degrees, sheriff in hand, pops the head off. And NRG, despite having lower equipment here, now you start to feel like this is a quite winnable round. Low HP for Monyet as well, by the way. And somewhat low HP for Xfera. It just means suddenly these, what hodgepodge of guns are available for NRG might end up working out for them. And better yet, RRQ, they're going to come back to A where NRG are waiting.
Yeah, and Ethan was trying to look around mid, but not sure if he got the timing on the rotate to B. But now you're sure RRQ trying to evict over at A, and it's the recon as RRQ try to dodge that and not reveal themselves to Brock in the position that he's in, working with Scuba close together. Ethan with a flash at distance, but with these smokes in place, RRQ have a sense of safety to get a plant off for free, while Scuba tries to distract away. I think maybe a grab well hit. Either way, RRQ now have time on their side, but not HP. They are so dangerously low, so they're hoping to spam through NRG to keep them in their place.
They're burning through util really quickly at this stage. NRG have basically dropped everything into this round now that they can. Let's see if Ethan's picked up rifle, can get it done. He'll tap the spike ever so gently. With Brock going down, numbers are starting to look bad. Scuba, though, he'll reply with one more. 2 versus 2 now. A drone to come on through. Check the final couple of positionings. Big kill for Monyet.
It's just Scuba, and I don't think Crazy Guy and Monyet really have to react until the spike gets tapped. And with that recon, you confirm that the round is sealed. And RRQ keep themselves in the game and not let NRG get too many rounds together in a row.
Really had to work for that one. That was a tough one for RRQ to win. You could see the potential for NRG to still bring that round back in, especially given the numbers were fine, given the lack of time, but being able to just get the plant down, survive, get yourself off of the site as well. Really massive stuff. It was this kill, just bang, straight onto Cushy. Thank you for the rifle. But an equally nice kill, Monyet, down to 5 HP, surviving against Ethan. I mean, if that goes the other way, NRG probably win that round.
Can't deny the post-plant impact that Xfero had with the grabs wells and all the delay that NRG were forced to go kill and not just be able to zone and pray. Meanwhile, RQ were expecting a lot more action over at A, and this time they'll be met by a wall, literally a vice wall that stands in their way, but at least RQ get a free orb out of it.
Look at this movement from NRG as well. Ethan thinking about walking a little bit deeper, but certainly in a good position to punish anyone that walks up. 2 players that can play off contact with each other, I should say. And further deep is going to be Marta. There's a couple players that are within one-shot kill. Cushy is not one of them.
Of course, you have the star in place right next to Ethan that can bail him out if he wants to fall back, and getting that info in mid. Of course, would want to flash and go for something if NRG were in a position to trade for him. So for now, you kind of let RRQ do what they want.
They got to go back over for an A finish here. You still have to get past the share. That is a bit of an issue. At least the Razor Divine is gone. But a lot of waiting members from NRG ready to receive as we get into the final 30 seconds. And I think NRG, obviously, they just got good info. They know it's not going to be a B finish. As it's been Mata just waiting there patiently for so long.
And you got like an Odin from Brock, full util, Ethan with flashes. This is gonna be RRQ suffering against the util of NRG, who have them surrounded, and our NRG have left a trap, and RRQ are just trying to get the swipe down, but the Odin and all the spam from NRG denies. 12 seconds for RRQ to bail themselves out, and they get stunned, all thanks to Scuba, and it's just impossible with Mata getting the knives out and cutting down all the rest of RRQ and keeping that 2-round gap.
Yeah, not even a possibility safe for Xferro that Mata finds his timing, goes across the entire map, feeds the info early to his team to allow them to stay over towards A. Plenty of util to still slow things down. Again, you gotta get past that share, but then there's the slowdowns from the grab wells and all the stars being placed. Scuba and the rest of NRG comfortably prevent even a plant really from being able to come through. Big stack up now from RQ, changing things up, moving towards the B side. As Mata still holds Outlaw again. We'll see what he can actually get done with this one. Probably a lot now, given that it's just pistols online for RQ, so shooting gallery on board. Potentially just a minute.
Oh, Monyet just dies immediately. And that's just such a good read from Mata to not only buy the Outlaw and watch B main, but hey, we don't have eyes on streets, and finds what he was looking for.
As the Outlaw that he kept over from the previous round after he pulled Bladestorm, and what a round to be able to pull it through once again, given that this is just going to be an eco. But a plant is not too bad given you're on an eco for RQ.
Yeah, he gets to farm up some ultimates for NRG to get closer to that finish line, closer to playoffs. It's just Jemkin and Cushy. Of course, the lockdown for the next rounds are going to be big. You got NRG flank developing, but with 2, it's only so much Cushy can clutch up against, and this is not going to be a split round like before.
1 kill with the plant is probably an okay round coming through from RQ. What's not going to be okay for them is the developing lead that NRG are coming through with, and the double digits on as well. 3 more to go for NRG to push themselves through the top 8. And then we'll have to start talking about whether this is an upset or not, which, given that RQ did win Pacific Stage 1, storyline-wise, it might just end up being the case, but it's been a rough go-around in this series so far for RQ. See if they can close this 3-round gap in any sort of way, as they'll finally have some more money to play through. This is going to be a reasonably big round, given the amount of ultimates in their hand as well. But Mata, he's finally upgraded to the operator, so he's ready to frag, just in case he hasn't already.
Yeah. What can he not do? And RRQ already winning that BO1, so they have a buffer. Whatever happens here, Hunter's Fury to kind of put down the red carpet for RRQ, and it's Monyet taking up all that space. Now you're hearing a drone through the back site, and RRQ could try to explore that. Monyet's going to decide to just stabilize the team because you haven't covered all the angles, and NRG are poking and prodding and splitting the focus of RRQ, and are leaving this to a 3 versus 3.
Steel Card really slow things down and put a 1v1. Mata, no issues there. Cushy ripped away. And the players on site trying to prevent this plant from coming on through. Some will take down Xferro, and a crazy guy likely just has way too much to do here. It'll at least make it interesting. Low HP though for Ethan. And with enough time, actually now this is starting to look a little bit more winnable for crazy guy. He's got Recon that's been refreshed there, full HP, versus 2 players not on full HP.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, and Ethan will have the knife, and of course Sam just got his refresh. I still think Sam was just such a nuisance. Crazy guy had to pivot. And he has to pull off a clutch. And it's Ethan that just throws it out. And Crazy guy does it again.
3K, massive stuff. That's a round that RQ needed. He clutched up big there. I was looking at the HP bars. Well, it didn't even matter because the headshots came on through, but you start to believe in this possibility to win. 50 seconds left remaining. Full rotation available to go to the other side of the map. The Steel Garden definitely slowed things down, but Monyet still just close enough, pulling out the short. He wants Steel Garden Nets to get himself a 1-for-1. And just caught with utility in hand. Ethan couldn't fire off a shot in time, and Som couldn't swing in time to play off the fact that Ethan gets taken down.
You just didn't think Crazy Guy was just going to be out in the open. He would be maybe be in that back room. Either way, let's focus on this A-orb fight that now a head-to-head. A lot more numbers for RRQ. NRG, I think, could just fall back and play for util. Just like those angles they played before. Let RRQ walk in and just pummel them with util.
It's ironic that Brock, despite spamming with the Odin, is the one that actually takes a little bit of damage on the opposite end. And, well, Cushy, here we go. Almost got that second one, but Ethan takes a 1-for-1 here. Dimensional Drift coming in from quite far away, but he is coming in.
Okay, pinging 1, pinging 2, flash, get him, keep him busy, play from main, and Monyet gonna go towards spawn. If you catch Brock, this would be winnable, but he has to achieve this here and now it's all up to him, and maybe wants to swap out the Odin, but...
Well, Overdrive is there, so you're right, definitely swap out the Odin, that is for sure. But this is RRQ just failing to get any control over it. No, okay, well, it's over. Scooball is unknown there. This is RRQ failing to get any control over onto A-Link. But a bit of a troublesome area for RRQ so far in this entire map. Definitely on this half of the map. Actually won a decent amount from that position early when they were defending, but Monyet was the only one really able to get too much work done. And the Dimensional Drift, yeah, good info, but they just couldn't work off that info to actually convert into kills.
I think this is the NRG game plan. That is the bread and butter of just kind of hustle and tussle towards the A-orb, try not to give too much, fall back, take all the angles around, and especially Som has been the dagger, the tip of the spear. Big hype, but also a Crazy Guy, I think, is the same thing on the other side. So what many more angles can RRQ try to explore? They're all just flooding through main, and can they go through R? Can they go towards spawn? Monyet has tried to be creative, but by the time he achieves what he was hoping for, the rest of the team's dead.
Time for a B round to come through, I think, from RRQ. See if they can find some success on that side of the map instead. Definitely a struggle pushing device utility, no matter which way you slice it, though. This is just NRG coming to this tournament looking so hot, so strong, and proving that taking down Team Heretics was one thing, dominating them, but winning against RRQ, especially given RRQ taking some risks with their composition on split, and actually happy to shelve that away.
Top 8 within arm's reach of NRG. They're missing out on Masters and Odin, Brock. Ooh. Monyet just giving him the peace sign, but it's Monyet that is going to be seeking peace. And, well, this team are left into pieces, too, and there's only so much you can do with Stingers and Sheriffs, but RRQ going to put a dent into Ethan's head, ideally, but the Odin just screams back, screams through the smoke, and NRG soon to get to match point, unless Crazy Guy pulls off his shenanigans.
Well, he just doesn't have a gun this time. That's what he desperately needs, and the numbers are not quite there. 1 versus 2, very different from 2 versus 4. Not too sure what RQ's game plan there was, but it has been dismantled extremely efficiently from the NRG side. And
Last player standing.
Good damage.
Well, Crazy Guy is still just on a stinger, sadly. He'll run into Marta here, and Marta, we've seen how good he's been so far. He'll get this shot.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get the Hunter's Fury. Crazy Guy's like 2 away from that, so I respect just going on a leisurely stroll, but it will be towards the lower bracket very soon if RRQ don't cook up something real good. NRG now with an Op and an Odin. Oh boy.
6 and 2 this half so far. Just a massive shutdown. And this was after Monyet already died after popping Overdrive as well, where Monyet, by the way, I assume knew that Brock was on the low ground. And when he swung through into B, he actually checked high ground first, and well, Brock just tore him down a piece with the Odin.
Uh-oh, Scuba, better watch out, but Mata has his back. That's all you need, support. And then NRG get the fall back. Usually they don't even get first blood. They kind of just exchange util. They bait a lot of those options out of RRQ. Then NRG take their positions around A. That's been the success story from NRG, and now RRQ find themselves without Monyet, who was their top fragger for most of the time. He started off like 9-1.
Final round here. Crazy Guy still one of Hunter's Fury. No gun in play as well. Drone does tag one. Look at this advanced movement though. Cushy has pushed up enough that could give some confidence for RQ to double back around. And that's what you have to imagine, the lockdown round as well coming through from Cushy.
They'll be sealed in by the Vice Wall if they're not careful, but that's fine. The lockdown will just be even more impactful against NRG, getting them out of their face. So RQ do have to clear their way there, but a good cutoff point from NRG, who just have won very critical duels in that potential final round. And it's RRQ that step in 3 versus 5, a turnaround they're hoping for. And it's at least clearing these power positions, but it's the backside you have to worry about. Big win for NRG, and it's Psalm that ruins the hopes and dreams of RRQ to come back into this series, and it's a flawless one at that. NRG take the series and go to top 8.
Talk about a statement finish right there. Flawless to end things on. Ultimate started to come online, but unused for the side of RRQ. They struggled on split. The Waylay and the Yoru double duelist look just not the play from them. Unable to find too much at all. Hoping for a lot more on Pearl, and you'll say at least it was competitive to an extent. First half